Over 100 different types of Oreos have come and gone over the years. Very few have improved upon the original, but you can say this about Nabisco. They aren't afraid to swing and miss. Today we try 3 of their latest attempts at cookie stardom and ask, "You tried that?" You tried that. Happy Mother's Day. I'm Nick Novak with my pals Chad Hancock.
Novak, are you a bad enough dude to rescue the president?
Wait, is he kidnapped by ninjas again?
Yep, that happened again.
Those damn ninjas on Mother's Day. Nick Agger.
So,
just say hey.
Ask him if he's a bad enough dude to host this podcast.
Are you a bad enough dude to call your mother on Mother's Day?
We all are now fathers, so we have the mothers that we need to think of because our children are not old enough to do much. You know, they can buy something. Geiger, you're not kids, but we have to take them to the store and pretty much buy it.
And usually, yeah.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, your kids don't use their own money.
No.
Did you guys were you card makers, make your own personal card when you were a kid? Or did you just have your other parent go buy something?
No, I made cards. In fact, I would, for her birthday and for Mother's Day, I notoriously tried to make several arts and crafts projects to get out of having to do coupons. You guys ever do coupons for your mom?
Yes, coupon book.
Oh, sure.
I'll set the table without being asked or whatever. The thing is, I didn't like making coupon books, A, because I didn't like setting the table and stuff, but B, because I just had to do it anyway. It's not like I had a choice if she told me to do it. It's kind of like
no one ever cashes those things in anyway.
She did. So I had to set the table twice one night. Oh, but
she's still cashing them in 40 years later.
Just call me, guys. I gotta cut the recorder, try to go drive up and take out her garbage, and then come back home. But I would make these notoriously terrible arts and crafts and try to pass them off as gifts. I remember I made her a letter holder one time to hold all our mail, and I just took a piece of paper and stapled it to the other piece of paper. I didn't staple the bottom, so she went to put a letter and it just fell down on the floor. I made a pencil holder one time out of paper that you put one pencil and the whole thing fell over. I didn't test any of this stuff.
Also, that would get marked up pretty easily. It wouldn't.
Chad, I didn't think it through. Okay, I didn't get the patent.
You're making all the stuff just out of paper. You just go pick up a piece of paper and see what you can origami into a gift?
Look, I don't know anything about arts and crafts, and I don't have supplies.
Mama, I made you a paper airplane. You just whip it at her face.
You don't know anything about arts and crafts, but you also don't know anything about a container that it needs to have a bottom to it?
I was not an engineer. The worst one I made was we made bowls in art class, and I'm like, oh, I'll paint this and I'll give it to her because and I'm thinking envisioning her using this to eat soup out of and shit. But it's
you made the bowl out of paper and it just soaked through the first time she used it.
I didn't put a bottom on it, so all the soap went the soup went through. But it was I made it red, and then I'm like, oh, what's creative? So I tried to wrap some more stuff around it to make a snake around it. And then I painted "I hate snakes" on it. I don't know if she really did hate snakes. I was just making an assumption. Yeah. I thought it would look cool, and then I'm like, oh, this will be a great gift. And I remember giving her, and she's going, what is this? You could barely read the paint, and it didn't look like a snake. I'm like, oh, because you hate snakes. And she's like, uh-huh. So she would put it up on the mantle and always joke about how she hated snakes. That's what I gave her. So I was not a great gift giver as a little shit.
Did you get your mom confused with Indiana Jones? Is that what happened?
Her name was Deanna Jones. That was her maiden name.
Deanna Jones.
Did you? I'm assuming none of us are very artistically talented. So,
no.
Did you all have the clay bowl or animal that you made in art class that sat in your room for 5? I remember mine. It was a turtle, and it was loosely a turtle, but it was so shitty, and it's just sat there on my desk at my house for years and years. I assume all kids had that.
I mean, mine said I hate snakes, and I gave it to my mom.
My stuff was so shitty. I always got rid of it like right away. But I remember one time when I was a really little kid at the grocery store. You know how when you're at the grocery store, like you're in the produce aisle and you pull out the plastic bag, and they usually have little twist ties that you can
Yeah.
rip off.
Yeah.
So I was like super bored. My mom's like shopping for groceries, and I just took a bunch of those twist ties and like started making stuff out of them. And I used like half a dozen or something and made the shittiest giraffe of all time. And then like forgot about it. And then like 6 or 7 years later, I visited my mom in her office, and she had the fucking giraffe like sitting there, like right next to her
Wow.
phone. I was like, "You kept this thing? Like, what are you thinking?" And she's
Did you
like,
throw
"This
it
is the
out?
only good thing you've ever done." And
But here, your granddaughter. Yeah, whatever.
she's like, "You still owe me." Like, she's got like, "I got this IOU slip for one non-shitty giraffe. When are you gonna deliver?"
Right.
How about you, Novak? You make any? What was your best Mother's Day gift?
Yeah,
other
you
than
know what?
your
I
presents?
actually remember. I remember because I took sewing that I in middle school that I had to sew things like a pair of shorts, I think,
Yeah, you
and
had to
an
sew things in sewing class.
and
That
an
adds up.
apron. I remember sewing an apron,
Yeah.
and for some reason the cloth I picked was like had toothbrushes on it. This is like all I remember. Then giving it to my mom for as a gift. Here's there's actually a gift story, a Mother's Day gift story, that is like a weirdly like sad, tragic story of mine, but also very pathetic. Is I used to go to the arcade all the time, and I would save up my tickets, and I had like this big brown bag of tickets. I would save them for so long. I don't know what I was looking to get, but every time I would go, I would save the tickets, and I were like up in a dresser at my house. And then for some reason, I decided this arcade had an iron in a box, and like, so I was like, I never got my mom anything with my own money. I don't have money, but I have these tickets, and they have an iron.
Why would that
Which-
be one of the prizes at a
I
children's
don't-
arcade?
I don't.
And here's a copy of QuickBooks. Does anyone want it?
Right.
8 years old. I don't fucking need that.
So I bought the iron with the ticket. This was like years of tickets I bought the
Oh,
iron
wow.
with.
That's pretty selfless,
And-
actually.
I
No,
mean,
yeah,
you could have had like 35 Reese's cups with that. And you bought a fucking iron. Like, what are you doing?
and this is the sad part of it. Is I gave it to my mom, and she was like, "Why'd you give me an iron?" And I was like, I was crushed. I'm like, I spent 2 years of tickets.
Your mom's like, "You got me this iron, and that perfectly good copy of QuickBooks was sitting right there. Like, what are you thinking?"
I can't keep my finances straight, but my fucking shirt will be straight.
Yeah, this year my wife gave me, as Christmas ideas, she gave me like a vacuum cleaner, something else I knew I shouldn't buy, and some jewelry. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'll buy you some fucking jewelry. Like, just say jewelry. Don't give me two gifts that I'm not too
Yeah.
stupid to buy you for. Here's a vacuum cleaner. Go clean the house, honey. Slapped her in the ass.
You got a QuickBooks though.
I got her QuickBooks. I got her, and then QuickBooks for Dummies, so she knew how to use it. And then I got in trouble because I was calling her a dummy. I can't win, guys.
You bought her some little earrings that look like Monopoly piece irons hanging from
Yeah.
her ears. Like,
I got her an iron and then a box of my wrinkled shirts. She opened it up. Like, well, now you have something to do with the iron.
You made her jewelry out of a piece of paper.
You didn't even get her an iron. You just got her a box full of all your years of tickets and said, "Go get your own iron."
I took a bunch of twisty ties together and I made an engagement ring out of it. And she was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, will you marry me?" Just at the grocery store.
She takes the twisty ties and looks at him, and she's like, "Giraffe or GTFO," and throws it out.
This is totally off topic, but I'd recently gone in to get a haircut, and right, we stay right on topic here. I recently went to get a haircut, and tell me if this is the case for you guys. So do you like have a regular person you go to, or you just show up? Or in the past, if you gotten haircuts, I assume you just show up to a Great Clips or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's usually 3 to 4 people working.
Yep.
And especially growing up and still as an adult, there's one person that I would prefer cut my hair. Right. of the people in there. So it's usually it's usually a very old lady, right, who like possibly doesn't speak English.
Yep.
And then there's usually like a guy who
Mm-hmm.
like is probably between jobs. And then there's usually an attractive lady.
Yep. Yep.
And it doesn't matter if she's like accidentally like buzzing people into mohawks and stuff and they're screaming. I'm still like, yeah, I gotta get her.
Doesn't matter if she's cutting hair while she's riding on a hoverboard. You're like, I want her.
Killing people, yeah. And you always do the thing where you're like counting, okay, so there's 3 people ahead. Like if this guy gets done, because you have nothing to do but sit there and stare at them cut people's hair.
Yeah.
So you're doing the math and you're like, oh, come on. And then if you win and they call you up, like the hot girl calls you up and you're like, yeah,
You just scream, yes, I'm ready. Go up there. Yeah. Play cool. No,
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely that at the local sport clips I would go to. I'll go with my son a lot of times, and like a lot. Then I have to count. Like, all right, I gotta let my son go first. But like that old lady that smells like cat food could handle my son. He's they're all dudes to him at this point. He's not. Why doesn't Olga take Jake? Yeah, Olga, come over here. No, yes, that beet soup looks great. Give it to Jake while you're over there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even care, like, obviously what the person looks like, who cuts my hair. What I'm looking for when I'm trying to game the line is which one talks the least. And we talked a little bit about that before, but I just want the one that is like not going to say a damn word to me. And that was sort of like how I'd try to figure it out.
I had that conversation with a female recently about talking with the person or not, and they made the point of they do want to talk to the person because women's haircuts often take a really long time,
like an hour.
And yeah. So if you're stuck with someone for an hour and it's silent the whole time, like they said, it could kind of get awkward. Where I think we can, our like 6-minute haircut, it's fine to be quiet through.
It's weird too because I feel like men's haircuts, they take like 10 minutes. You're in and out. They cost like $20 or less, like whatever, depending on how you tip or your area. And women will go in, and I swear to God, my wife will have like an 1/8 of a 100th of her hair cut off at the very bottom, and it's like, all right, $61. Like, what the fuck did they do? They didn't do anything. They had a golden
Will you
scissors?
accept arcade tickets? I love it.
How about we trade? I'll give you this iron. You cut my wife's hair for less money. I made them a scissors holder that just fell over all the time. It doesn't really work.
Also, my wife wants her hair straightened. Feel free to use that iron.
Just burning Pepsi skin.
The person's entire desk is full of Geiger's paper made holders, just wet combs and stuff.
There's that guy who makes everything out of paper again. Made you this apron, not a construction paper.
All right, let's eat some Oreos. We've got 3 Oreos to eat. We're going to rate them on a 5-point scale. I love that, like that, indifferent to that, dislike that, and hate that. And let's get the gluten-free Oreos out of the way. So, gluten-free, this is kind of, I think, the impetus for starting another Oreo episode was seeing these gluten-free Oreos.
They smell the same as regular Oreos, as far as I can tell.
And there's no gluten in the cream, right? So theoretically, the cream should be the same. I guess I really don't know, but
I don't know how much gluten is in a regular Oreo.
Well,
yeah, actually, before I came down to record this, my wife said to me, she's like, "Oh, I actually thought Oreos were already gluten free," but I think she was thinking vegan. They're vegan, is surprisingly.
The cookie is definitely harder. It's not bad.
It's off.
Yeah.
It's off. It is off.
Is it like a Hydrox Oreo kind of almost?
It is off. What is
The
it?
cream feels softer too. I'm gonna separate it out a little bit.
It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No.
But it's just not quite right.
There's like a weird aftertaste or something, or middle taste. during taste. I don't know what you call it, but
Yeah,
taste.
right.
There's a weird taste.
There's a
The
weird
actual taste of
beginning,
it.
middle, and end taste.
I can't put my finger on it. Just something. It's not even bad. It just tastes different, weird. There's something
The
weird.
consistency too
Yeah.
is just a little off.
All right, Geiger, you have to start. This is
This is
this is
tricky.
pretty tough, actually.
You
What do you
guys might
think?
make fun of me that there's something almost like I don't know why I'm thinking this, but it tastes almost like plant-ish or like vegetable-y or something. There's some weird like during taste, like it's during you're eating it. The taste
Yeah.
weird, otherwise known as the taste.
A during taste or what?
During taste. It's not an aftertaste. It's while you're eating it. That's the problem.
Isn't that just food?
The pre-taste was fine. Like before I put it in my mouth, it tasted okay. I would say actually this isn't indifferent to that though. They're not horrible. I was expecting to hate this, and it's because of my experience with gluten-free stuff just being so dry. The cookie isn't actually that different than a regular Oreo cookie in terms of texture, because Oreo cookies are already kind of dry-ish.
Yeah.
I guarantee this wouldn't crumble as well, like if you dunked it in a milk. And it is there's just something slightly wrong about the taste. But I guess I'm also sort of giving it a little bit of a better score because I'm kind of grading it at a curve based on my expectations. It's really not that bad, so I'd say it's even different. Like if this is the only cookie in the house, I could eat a few. I just don't. They're not great.
All right, indifferent to start, Chad.
This might be the hardest rating we've ever had in 130 whatever episodes.
Yeah. Strange.
Because here's the thing. If I suddenly like couldn't eat gluten tomorrow or whatever, this would probably satisfy that Oreo craving. Probably. Maybe if they made a double stuffed version or something. But it's not right. Like I tried just some of the cream on its own and the cream is different.
Yeah.
I think maybe they use flour in the cream to thicken it or something. And the consistency of the cookie, it just breaks apart in a way that isn't great. But if I had never had a regular Oreo and you gave me this, I'd probably say it's fine. The taste isn't blowing me out of the water. I think I gotta agree with you and indifferent to that. I was thinking dislike because I'm comparing it to like a regular Oreo, but I think just on its own, like in a vacuum, it's fine. And if I was gluten free, I'd put up with it. So I'm gonna go indifferent to that.
All right. Thank you guys for saying what needed to be said on Mother's Day. I think if you didn't have the Oreo name on the front, you just as a chocolate cookie, I would think this is just a generic like grocery store bought chocolate cream cookie. It's really hard to say what's wrong with it. There's just something wrong, and it cannot be described. But it's fine. Again, I agree. If I couldn't eat gluten, I maybe would try these every now and then. So I'm going to say, indifferent to that, we have a lazy electioneer for the gluten-free Oreo. And it definitely has a shot because as we've known from the Oreo tournament, some of these Oreo flavors can get really fucked. So
Yeah.
we will see. Let's do the Java chip next.
Yeah, I think we're about to try one of them.
All right. So Geiger, of course, the only one of the three of us that loves coffee. So what? I didn't see the package. So it's coffee, obviously, but what else?
This is coffee flavored cream with chocolatey chips, and so the package looks like a coffee chocolate chip ice cream on it.
Yeah.
Like it's got 2 scoops of ice cream. It definitely smells pretty coffee. And the cream does have what appear to be like little tiny chocolate chips in it. And I just dropped mine on the ground.
My wife Laura, who was on a few weeks ago, ate one of these before. She's a huge coffee nut, and she took a bite and handed it back and said, "Not good."
I don't notice the chocolate chips at all.
No. It's one of the more pointless additions, considering the cookie's already chocolate. Like,
Yeah.
I would say the coffee flavor is not all that strong.
No. It just makes the whole thing kind of generically sweet.
I think the coffee flavor is strong. I mean, it's not like super strong, compared to some other coffee flavored things that we've eaten, but I definitely taste it. I'm getting coffee aftertaste. The coffee smell is out of control with this thing.
Do you get coffee during taste or no?
Pre-taste, post-taste,
Yeah.
all the tastes.
Post-taste.
Give me that post-taste, post-taste. But it, yeah, it does have that really strong coffee smell, and that is something with it. A lot of these Oreo flavors is they have like a much stronger smell than a taste sometimes.
What do you think, Chad?
I think these things are disgusting. The coffee, the smell's bad. The taste is bad. The chocolate chips are completely pointless. They don't even add any kind of texture whatsoever. This is one of the grosser creams that I've tried. Now, it's not like overwhelmingly sickly sweet like some of these other ones, like cinnamon bun or whatever. Or like, didn't we try? I don't know, like, like candy or we tried a bunch of really nasty ones. And I wouldn't put this maybe on like those top tier gross levels, but it is really, really gross. I couldn't even eat a whole cookie, so this is getting a hate dat from me. I think it's disgusting.
I can't go that far. I was actually leaning towards indifferent. I don't think it's that much worse than the gluten-free one. The cream actually tastes better on this. It's creamier. I think there's a little more of it. The aftertaste is bringing it down a bit, but that's because I don't like coffee. I do think if you liked coffee, you could enjoy it. I'm gonna slide it down to a high level dislike, but I don't think it's that far from indifferent for me. So that still is better than I thought I was gonna rate it. Geiger.
I'm a little torn. The aftertaste is bad. The during taste is okay. The cream is just.
You're still running with the during taste. I thought that was a one-time thing.
It's a new phrase we're using every single podcast
now. We're using it during cast, not post cast.
My wife doesn't really enjoy our during sex. Like after sex, it's fine. The during sex is really not that pleasant for her. The cream is like too creamy. I noticed with a lot of these not regular Oreo flavors that like a regular Oreo, the cream has got a little like stiffness to it, and I like that. Like you have to scrape it off the cookie, whereas this is like almost like oily for some reason. It's like real like smushy. The flavor's okay. I agree with Chad. There's no reason for the chips to be there. You can't taste or even know if they're there. I like coffee. It doesn't really taste like coffee. It tastes like a mocha, like a coffee with like cream, like a latte or something, which I don't love as much. Man, I'm really torn between indifferent and a dislike that. I am probably going to go with a high level dislike. They're not great. I would probably eat a gluten-free over it, but it's splitting the tiniest of hairs, I think.
All right, 2 dislikes and a hate. And it's segment time.
Okay, so we're going to return to a game that we played like a long time ago. It's been a while. This is called the Setting You Guys Up to Look Like an Asshole game. I think that was the official name. So here's the way this game works. You're gonna have to give me a pair of food items, okay? Mm-hmm. And the food items need to have a letter in common. Now, the reason we're doing this is because we're doing Oreos here. Mm-hmm. Oreos start and end with the letter O. So the way we did it in the past is both food items had to start with the same letter, but this time there's a little twist. One of the food items has to start with the letter, and the other one has to end with it. So, let me give you an example.
Yeah, we get it.
So, for the letter S, you could say steak and potatoes. That would be a good food combination there. We're not going to go with the letter
steak
S,
and
but
steaks.
That's why we're not going with the letter S.
So if I had tea, I could say tacos and Wario meat.
You absolutely could.
Don't use all those good ones early.
Yeah. So we're going to go through this, and whichever one of you two comes up with the food combination that I think is better gets the point. Okay, so we've got 6
Are we
letters.
getting the same letter?
You're getting the same letter.
Okay.
And we'll just alternate who goes first. And we'll start, since Novak made the wisecrack about jumping to one of the letters, which was coincidentally the first letter I was going to give you. We're actually going to go with Geiger first. So,
I get to look like an asshole first.
So Geiger, you get to go first. The first
All right.
letter is the letter T.
Hmm.
And you can't use Wario meat.
What goes with Wario meat? Waluigi meat? All right. We've got T. Why can't I think of something that starts with T? Tacos. I guess I'll just borrow that one.
You can steal it from Novak, yeah.
Yeah, tacos and carrots. Or carrot. One
Tacos
carrot.
and carrot. Okay. Great. Yummy. Novak.
Yeah.
Tilapia
Mm-hmm.
and shallot.
Ooh.
That famous
fish.
combo.
Yeah, the old
The onion fish.
Tilapia is kind of a dog shit fish, actually. I remember when we all used to wait tables at Lone Star. And
dog shit would have worked too.
Dog shit would have worked.
Tilapia and dog shit.
And they always had us pushing the tilapia because it had like super high profit margins, but it tasted like ass. So I think I'm going to go with the tacos and carrots. So point for Geiger.
Classic combo.
Carrots are fine. You know, you cook them and season them. They're pretty good.
Put
All
all
right.
right. Tacos.
All right, Novak, to you to start this one. The letter N. Both of your names start with this letter.
That's right.
The letter N.
Oh my gosh. Why can I not think of a food when a letter
Setting you up to
is
look like an
thrown out?
asshole.
Novak meat.
Okay. Nectarine
Mm-hmm.
is it classically pairs with so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And gin.
Wow.
Sipping on gin and nectarine. Way back. Because I'm living in an asylum because I've got to go insane. All right. You stole mine. That was.
Can you beat nectarine and gin?
I mean, sadly, probably not. Let's see. We've got your classic. Oh, nigiri. Isn't that a kind of sushi?
Right? It is.
Nigiri and shit.
Gin.
No. And nigiri and a bun. You get a nigiri sandwich.
That sounds dumb, but it sounds way better than gin and nectarine. So
Take a shot.
Doesn't eating sushi on a bun?
You've never had a raw fish sandwich?
the one I came up for this one, maybe one of my all-time favorite food combinations: noodles and Parmesan.
Oh,
That was mine for that one.
We could have done flan too.
we look like assholes. This is...
Prophetic of you.
Yeah, I had all day to come up with that. All right, Geiger, back to you. Third
Mm.
one. You have a 2-point lead. Here we go. The
Yes.
letter is R. The letter is R.
Rare steak. No. Let's do.
Rare steak and potatoes.
Ravioli. Potatoes.
Ravioli was the first thing I thought of too.
Yeah, ravioli. And you topped it off with a tall, cool glass of water, my friend.
Ravioli and water.
Nice and refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I actually got a reasonable one this time.
Yes.
Red potatoes and butter.
Oh.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
that is good. I do love ravioli, but I would probably not pair it with water. So
You're trying to be healthy.
There's nothing wrong with it.
no, it's fine. But red potatoes and butter is a good choice. So point to Novak there. You're on the board. I had come up with roast beef and cheddar. I think it's a pretty good, like a roast beef
yeah,
sandwich.
that's a good
with
one.
I had
cheddar.
all week to do this, so.
That one I came up with right away. I was pretty proud of myself there. All right, Novak, back to you. Here we go. F. The letter is F.
Okay. Whoa.
Getting
Words
harder.
end in F.
Where did it
Yeah.
end in F?
Yeah.
Getting harder.
Yeah.
Beef? I'm going with beef first. That's going to be my ending one.
Beef.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
And what starts with F? Beef and fish, that famous combo.
Surf and turf?
Surf and turf, yeah.
Yeah.
Beef and fish. You know when I go to the restaurant, they say, "What do you want?" I just say, "Fish." And they just bring out any fish.
Beef and fish, please.
Like, how do you want that cooked? Just make me some beef. I didn't ask any questions of you, did I? All right, from me.
Can you beat
All
beef
right.
and fish?
Okay, I'm gonna go a little Mediterranean for you. Falafel and rice pilaf.
Ah, I thought of rice pilaf too.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
That's well
Yeah.
done.
That is pretty good, but I don't love Mediterranean food, so give me the surf and turf.
Yeah.
Beef and fish.
Give me that beef and fish.
Give me the beef and fish. You could have gone beef and French fries. Might have been nice.
Ooh.
I just I thought of French fries at first, but it didn't pair with rice pilaf.
Yeah.
I want you to go to some I want you to go to a fancy restaurant.
Okay,
And for a
so
special, have them just go. We have fish tonight. Yeah, what kind of fish?
It's very funny that you said that because I was just trying to see how hard each of these letters were, which is why I came up with ones. And the one I came up with from F was French fries and rice pilaf. So there we go.
Oh, wow.
Shit.
Nice.
I'm not saying that's a good
Sipping on
combo.
beef and fish.
Got my pilaf on my mind and my mind on my pilaf.
And jizz-soaked fish.
All right, two more. It's all tied up.
Okay.
Here we go.
Nice
This
comeback.
goes back to you, Geiger. The letter is E.
Nope. Do a different one. Oh, okay, I got that one. E.
Mm-hmm.
E.
Ooh. All right.
Is E.
All right. The obvious starting with E is eggs.
Yes.
Taste
Damn
of
you.
eggs. Or
That's
fried
the
eagle.
easy one.
Yeah, nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
Eggs and sausage. That's an E.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
All right.
Excellent.
Can
That's going to be
I-
tough to beat.
Okay.
Eagle piss is on the table. I left it for you.
Okay, I have a question here. Can I use egg roll? It's very different.
No, because that just opens up like a million. Egg foo young. Egg,
Okay.
Gives you options.
Excellent steak. You know.
All right. Enchilada
Yeah.
Ooh,
okay.
that's good.
and rice.
We did well with that, I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah,
we've
that's
come a
pretty
long
good.
way
We don't
since
look like
gin and
assholes
nectarines.
That's just slightly better than duck and dental floss. All right. Yeah, so but egg and sausage is just a
Yeah,
great
that's
combo.
good.
It's hard
Yeah,
to
that's
beat.
good.
Probably the best one that's been said so far.
It can't be beat by much except enchilada and rice.
Eagle meat.
All right.
Eagle.
Eagle piss. Okay. Last one.
Yeah.
Here we go. Novak. The letter is H.
Ooh.
H.
Tell me about that triple H.
I'm having a much harder time with the ending here.
Mm-hmm. It's tricky. It's
Um,
tricky to end in H, to end in H. It's really hard. It's tricky.
Okay. Broth. I'm gonna say broth.
Wow.
That's good. That's a real good one.
Mm-hmm.
But what am I gonna put in that broth? That's what...
Gin.
Crap. I need this, but I can't think of anything good that would go in the broth. I'm sure you guys could think of something. Ham.
Oh,
Ham and broth.
Ham and broth. The old ham broth.
Could be worse. Yeah, I mean,
Could be worse. Could be
One
worse.
bowl of
yeah.
ham
Stuff on.
water. Okay.
Jagger, what's the answer?
The starting one was simpler. I thought of hash browns.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh,
the
yeah.
final H is potatoes, comma, mash. Does that work? No.
No.
Math? No, I can't think of what.
Hash browns and math. Count these potatoes. How many you got?
I got nothing.
Is it math? Is that your answer?
Final answer.
I mean, you can lock into math if you want and see what happens. Roll the dice, see if I like that.
Probably. Hash browns and hash. Is it like is that, are those the same food really?
What's hash? What do you mean?
Corned
be
beef
specific?
hash, like corned beef
okay.
hash.
Corned beef hash is a different food than hash
Okay,
browns.
we'll take hash browns and corned beef hash. That's bad.
So I could have a classic breakfast combination of hash browns and corned beef hash, or I could have ham broth.
It's ham floating in broth. That's what it is.
Ham soup.
All right, I will take the corned beef hash. So that's a win for Geiger there. Well
Nicely
done.
done.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, we
That
look like
was-
assholes.
Making you guys look like assholes.
All right, let's finish up the Oreos here. We've got hazelnut. Is it just hazelnut, or am I missing part of
Chocolate
the title?
hazelnut. It's
Chocolate
called.
hazelnut. Now this is right up Chad's alley.
I'm so excited for these. I gotta say, because they had a hazelnut spread flavor, but it was with the golden Oreo cookie,
Oh, right,
a couple years ago, and I always kind of really wanted it with the chocolate.
My
So
wife
we'll see
is
how it
obsessed
compares.
with Nutella. I think it's like fine.
I love Nutella.
Yeah, I'm just sort of indifferent about Nutella. Very chocolatey.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I like the cream on its own that much.
Chad, you gonna make a double stuff?
Yeah, I will. It must be done. I did not make a double stuff of the Java chip.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'll go first. It's a very chocolatey taste, and that's good. I think the cream tastes good. It's definitely the best of the day, and there's not any real competition for it here. I'm enjoying them. I don't know if I could eat as many in a sitting as I could eat of a regular Oreo, because it's just a bit more one note.
Yeah.
But the cream is nice, goes well with the cookie. I'm going to give it a very solid like that. I think it's a good Oreo, and we've tried many, many bad ones. So this is pleasant. It's a pleasant surprise that it is so tasty. Geiger?
I'm going to disagree with your statement that it's clearly the best one we've had in a while. I don't like it that much.
Just today. You don't even think it's the best today?
No. I would rather eat the gluten-free.
Wow.
Which
you
I
changed
never
your
thought
mind.
in a fucking million years I'd say out loud.
Holy shit.
It's not. It's better than the Java chip. It's to me. It doesn't taste that chocolate. It's chocolatey, but it's also got that nut flavor in it. Like there's a little bit of that hazelnut in it, and I just don't like Nutella that much. I don't like that nuttiness. I think it throws it off a little bit, and it's also got that wet cream. So I I don't like my goddamn Oreos all wet. Okay,
Got that wet cream.
hold on, let me dunk it in milk. Oh shit! Oh, I ruined it.
This cream is made out of ham broth. What the hell?
I'd much rather kick back and enjoy a nice, cool sip of gin followed up by a bite of nectarine than eating these Oreos. So I am going to give it a dislike that. I would eat them over the Java chip, but I don't love them.
Wow. Okay.
Amazing.
Well, now it's still a race here because the gluten-free Oreo, 3 indifferents. Right now we've got a like and an indifferent, or a like and a dislike, which averages to an indifferent. So as of right now, it is a tie. So
Yeah.
it's straight down the middle here. If Chad likes this thing, it's going to win. If he doesn't, it's going to lose.
I will say I'm disappointed because I did love those previous Nutella Oreos so much. And I think it's better with the golden cookie, or maybe they changed the cream flavor. I don't know, but these are not as good. Like if I compare these to the dark chocolate Oreos that we had before, which are became my favorite Oreo flavor, or even the regular chocolate Oreos, which are a little sugary but still better than this. Like the cream is better in those and the flavor is better in those. There is Geiger's right, there is something a little off with that addition of the nut that kind of brings it down from like how good it could be. But it still is actually really, really tasty. I think it's still very good flavor. But I am disappointed. I was going and expecting a love, but I can't give them a love. They're just sort of like a low level like that for me. I think they're an above average Oreo, better than most of the flavors, but they didn't knock my socks off like I hoped they would.
All right. Well, they were just good enough by the skin of their teeth to win the episode with 2 likes and a dislike. So of these 3, we have a slight recommendation for the hazelnut, but something to note if you are observing a gluten-free diet, that those gluten-free Oreos might be something to check out.
Yeah.
And I have had a lot of these because a lot of different gluten-free foods, not nearly as much as Geiger has. And Geiger, you can attest better than any of us that a lot of these like packaged baked gluten-free cookies are awful.
Yes.
Awful.
Right. So this I think surpasses a lot of those.
It's one of the best gluten-free cookies I've ever eaten. Most of that stuff is just so dry and crumbly. It's just awful. But these are not nearly. These are far and away one of the better gluten-free snacks I've eaten.
I'm curious to try them dunked in milk and see how they hold up in that situation.
Or even ham.
I'm also I'm wondering how like we said, how far did they have to go? How many changes were there? Like, was it a heavy gluten thing to begin with, or is a regular Oreo really not that far off from being gluten-free as it is? So
yeah, did they just swap out all the regular flour for tapioca flour or something like that and call it a day?
Right.
I don't know.
All right, Geiger. Where can listeners contact us?
If you want to follow a gluten-free lifestyle, not only would we recommend these gluten-free Oreos, but we gave you several other options. Ham broth, tangerine, or nectarine, and gin is a gluten-free, as I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Should be. None of the others that I can remember. Anyway, moving on.
Beef and fish.
Beef and fish, yeah. I mean, as long as you're not breading the fish, as long as it's got to be just straight up fish, indiscriminate mystery fish. They have to bring it out just. When they come out, you're like, "You're fish, sir." I'm like, "Oh, which kind is it?" I'm like, "It's from the ocean," and they just walk away.
It's your pet goldfish.
Just a misshapen piece of beef that they're not telling you what kind of cut it is, or how it's cooked.
That's also your pet goldfish.
Yeah. And if you are a hairdresser or any of the other stuff we talked about real early on, I can't even remember anymore. Oh, Mother's Day gifts. If you have a need for like arts and crafts ideas, I got all kinds of great Mother's Day gifts stored up, especially if your mom hates snakes. I got a couple things I can interest her in, like a bowl and I think a bowl. So,
does your mom still have that bowl?
I think so.
Wow.
So. Yeah, she loves me. I mean, and she hates snakes. You can get in touch with me. You tried it. Well,
she really should have burned that a long time ago. It sounds awful.
Yeah, my feelings would not have been hurt. It was garbage. You can get in touch with us at youtrydat@gmail.com. You can reach us on YouTube through the comments. I don't always say you can reach us on YouTube. You can't. Just listen to us on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter, #YouTriedThat. We have a Facebook group, You Tried That. Let us know what you think. Leave a review. List a food that you want us to try. If you're my mom and you stole some leftover coupons, just don't email me. Just call me. I'll come up and change the softeners and whatever the fuck you want me to do. And as always,
massage my feet.
Oh God, that's a weird one.
Sounded just like your mom.
My mom is Marge's sisters from The Simpsons.
All right, if you had to, you have to eat 5 of this type of Oreo. It's
Okay.
either beef or fish Oreo. Which do you think you could stomach more?
5
Fish.
beef Oreos or 5 fish Oreos, you're saying?
Yeah.
Is it like medium rare beef?
Oh,
Tastes better.
God. Can I have 5 gin Oreos instead?
You could dunk them in gin.
Yeah.
I don't.
I think it's got to be the beef, right?
Yeah.
Like the fish one's just
It's
gonna
gotta.
smell horrible.
A fish flavored Oreo would be the most fucking disgusting thing on the earth. Except for the carrot cake ones. I think we didn't like those. But
As bad as like chocolate would be with beef, it's somehow worse with fish. Like it wouldn't work.
Chocolate covered fish never took off. Yeah, that sounds terrible. At least with like chocolate, you've got like mole sauces and stuff where there's some chocolate used in cooking with meat. But fish is one of those things. A lot of stuff you can't do fish and cheese, except I guess the Filet-O-Fish, but that's probably not really fish. You can't do chocolate and fish.
Okay, so here's the food debate I had at work with some people.
Yeah.
So we're starting out making, like, you're adding the ingredients that need to be added to still make it the food. So for example, we started with taco. You have to have a shell first. You have to have meat. That's the next thing that still keeps it a taco. And then what would you say is the next ingredient that you would add? Like the most basic thing, like cheese, probably.
Those cheese or lettuce is the first.
Yeah, the cheese comes after the meat, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So there was pretty universal agreement on the taco. Now, where we had quite an argument was the hamburger. Okay, so you start with bun and meat.
Yes.
It needs that to be a hamburger.
Yeah.
What is the next thing it needs to be a hamburger?
Oh, so I'm assuming people don't think ketchup or something like that.
Well, yeah, like honestly, like condiments, like ketchup is the next place I went, but I was getting the argument of cheese, and this was undecided.
To be a hamburger?
That's how do you make it?
Will be a burger, burger.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if you put cheese on it, it is explicitly no longer a hamburger. It has to be a cheeseburger.
Right. It has to be a burger.
No, I don't put cheese on my burgers.
Yeah, I mean, so I would put cheese on next. That would be the next thing I put on because you want it to melt over the meat or whatever. But like, were they saying that it's a requirement? Like, you can't eat a burger without cheese? Because that's like stupid.
What's the next thing that you would put on? Like, wouldn't you rather have a burger with no cheese and condiments than with cheese and no condiments on it?
No, I eat plain cheeseburgers all the time.
Really?
Just burger and cheese and bun? That's it?
It's so dry.
Yeah, I mean, I also eat just straight up plain hot dogs constantly, so I'm like a bad judge. But because I don't really like those condiments, right? Like I don't like ketchup, I don't like mustard. Maybe I'll put a little bit of mayo on the bun, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But only a little bit. It's not that dry because the meat is really juicy, right? You get if you do it right. Like I'm not talking like a fucking McDonald's hamburger or something like that, but if you have like a nice thick hamburger that's cooked well.
And then it also was what we would put hot dog, bun, dog. What's next?
Ketchup. People are so stupid about this in Chicago, where it's got a Chicago dog can't have ketchup. It's got to have like tomatoes and peppers and onions.
I like ketchup on a dog, fine, but mustard would be the next pick for that. And I think like if you had to poll the United States, most people would like pick mustard over ketchup on their next.
I like mustard. I think ketchup is the only thing I think it's required. Like I have to eat ketchup on a hot dog. I like mustard as well, but I have to have ketchup on a hot dog. Other than
Do you put nothing on them, Chad?
I don't like.
I'll put cheese on them sometimes, but otherwise I'll eat them plain. I do love cheese on stuff. Actually, I bought like a 6-pack of hot dogs and buns last week from the butcher, and then I ate 2 hot dogs every day for lunch, like 3 days straight. And like I was gonna cook them 3 different ways. Like first I was gonna like fry them in a pan. Then the next day I was gonna boil them, and then the next day I was gonna grill them. But I got so lazy with the third day, and I just boiled them again. So like my experiment was a failure.
So back up. But let's back up.
Chef Chad has made hot dogs 3 ways.
You went and got hot dogs from a butcher?
Yeah, well, I was at the butcher getting other
Uh-huh.
stuff anyways, like getting like a steak and ground meat and stuff, and they also
Right.
have hot dogs there, so I
I
picked
was
up some
talking to
hot
my
dogs.
butcher, Ballpark Frank, the other day. He was hanging out a meat case at Joel's. I was like, oh yeah, these look fresh. Yeah, I'll have some of these. I'll make them three
Yeah.
ways: burnt, slightly burnt, just right.
If you're gonna make a hot dog at home for lunch,
Yeah.
on what way do you make it the highest percentage of the time?
I mean, for me, it'd be most of the time grill because I think that's the best way to do it. And the weather's nice enough here that I can just walk outside and grill in my backyard anytime I
Yeah.
want. But I was just feeling particularly lazy this week. I think growing up, we always had them boiled, which I would say is probably the worst way. I don't
We had
know.
them
What do you
boiled
guys?
or grilled. Like dinner, we'd have them grilled. Lunch, we'd have them boiled. I would just usually when if it's like a weekday and I just need a quick. If I was gonna make a hot dog for a quick lunch, I'd just pan fry them real quick. I wouldn't bother go start up the grill. But
Yeah.
No, I do it the worst way, which I've done a number of times recently, is microwave.
ooh,
Just
That
put
is
it
the
30
worst
seconds in
way.
the microwave.
that is
But when you're in a
bad.
pinch, it's done in 30 seconds.
You're gonna
Yeah.
go get some premium hot dogs from the butcher, then stuff those things in the microwave. Can't do that.
Now, how
Many
do you guys
shots of
feel?
gin do you have with it?
How do you feel about the hot dog like sliced in half before you like cook it or whatever?
I prefer not, but I've never done that at home. I've had that when I've ordered a hot dog out, but I've never tried to do it at
Yeah, they'll do
home.
it at like I think like some chain like Five Guys or some places like that do it. I
I
think.
do it at home when I'm out of hot dog buns because I'll just take I'll make toast like I'll
You'll
toast two
use it.
pieces
You'll
of
split
bread.
open a hot dog and use that as the bun and second a hot dog inside.
No, no, it's the old dog and dog. No, I like make two pieces of toast and then I slice it down the middle and lay them down, eat it like a hot dog sandwich.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah,
I
I
heard you
wrap.
made an Inception dog with just four dogs, one inside of the other.
I made it in an infinity loop. I didn't know where to start. It just kept feeding into my mouth.
You did your dogs three ways. Like one was pan fried, one was boiled, and one was grilled, and they were all shoved inside each other.
They were all stuffed inside each other like human centipede style. They just ringed around my kitchen. Ass to mouth hot dogs everywhere.
I mean, that makes sense considering hot dogs are probably pig ass, so it's
Yeah.
made from pig human centipede. So
When you get them from the butcher, is it like they are in the cartoons where it's like a bit like a bunch of hot dogs all tied loose together?
Yeah. Sling them over your shoulder.
I think they had like they had snipped the ends, so it wasn't like one big long string. You know, they were all just lying there in the bowl or whatever.
I feel like growing up, every time we had hot dogs, either my grandfather or my dad, I can't remember, would always be like, "Yep, they're just lips and assholes." Like every time. I get it.
Yes, I heard the same thing.
Like, why are
Yeah.
you constantly wanting to make them then if you're so grossed out by it?
Right.
You can't get enough.
Half
pig
past a
asshole.
monkey's lips, quarter to his asshole. That's what you're supposed to say.
We're here, the captain shouted as he ate some big lips and assholes.
All right. Well, hey, that was a honest to goodness food discussion. Well, but don't worry, we'll be back next time to not talk about food. So, all right, but that'll do it for this time. We'll be back next time. We churn out 3 brand new things.
Deuces.
Yep.